Beyond the Gates spoilers tease that Vanessa becomes a pawn in Joey's larger scheme so intricately woven, it lures her in with charm, blinds her with ambition, and slowly, deliberately, traps her in a vice she never saw coming. Her story doesn't begin with betrayal, but with coincidence. At least, that's what she believes. She meets Joey through a casual encounter at a charity gala she attends on behalf of her husband Doug. It feels like fate. Joey's charisma is magnetic, his attention intoxicating. He listens to her in a way Doug hasn't in years. He sees her, or so she thinks. But Joey doesn't believe in coincidence. For him, everything is strategy. He's been watching Vanessa long before she notices him. He knows who she is, a successful real estate mogul, married to a man already sinking in debt, a man who is, unbeknownst to her, already one of Joey's countless victims. Doug fell into the trap with dreams of fast profits and flashy returns. Joey had made it all look so easy. All it took was one bad month and, suddenly, Doug was borrowing from the wrong people, chasing his losses in the backrooms of high-stakes poker games Joey orchestrated like a conductor of chaos. Vanessa, as sharp as she is in business, is blind to the rot infecting her home. She's busy with her firm, building her brand, appearing in glossy magazines and giving talks about women in leadership. Joey preys on that ambition, cloaking himself as an admirer of her drive. He plants ideas subtly: how real estate is the perfect front for capital movement, how investors love strong female CEOs, how she could be the face of something bigger than herself. Vanessa, flattered and intrigued, doesn't ask too many questions. She believes she's the one in control. At first, the arrangement is vague. A few clients referred through Joey. Deals that close faster than usual. Money that moves in and out of escrow accounts with an efficiency that seems too good to be true. Joey tells her it's because he trusts her, and she eats it up. The money is real, after all. The profit's legitimation paper. Vanessa doesn't see that her company is slowly becoming a laundering hub for Joey's criminal empire. She doesn't know the shell companies involved are ghosts. She doesn't know some of the properties never even exist. She's dazzled by the growth. Her team is too loyal or too scared to question anything. She's too caught up in the success to see the strings. But someone does see them. Jacob, a financial investigator with a reputation for exposing high-profile corruption rings, starts sniffing around. He doesn't approach Vanessa directly. He studies patterns, follows digital trails, cross-checks names. It takes him weeks, but the name that keeps popping up in shadow accounts, in flagged transfers, is Vanessa's. He doesn't know yet if she's complicit or clueless. But he knows she's in deep. And time is running out. Vanessa notices Doug pulling further away. He's jittery, irritable, and evasive. She thinks it's the usual strain of marriage. What she doesn't see is the desperation in his eyes, the mounting fear behind his reckless gambling. Joey's got his hooks in him deep, and Doug is trying to stay afloat with lies and borrowed money. He knows Joey is dangerous. He's heard the stories whispered and corner people who cross Joey don't just lose money. They disappear. Joey, meanwhile, keeps Vanessa close. He buys her gifts, showers her with affection, paints a picture of a future where the two of them run the city together. Vanessa begins to dream dangerously. She imagines leaving Doug. She imagines herself and Joey as power players. She stops noticing the inconsistencies. She dismisses the questions her assistant quietly raises about the odd account activity. She ignores the strange names on her ledgers. She's in love. Or so she thinks. But love isn't part of Joey's equation. He doesn't forgive betrayal. His late wife cheated on him, and her death officially ruled an accidentus a wound that never healed. It warped something in him. Joey doesn't trust easily, and he never forgets a slight. If Vanessa steps out of line, he'll discard her the same way he used Doug. But for now, she's still useful. Jacob continues digging. He starts interviewing former employees at one of Joey's shell firms. He uncovers just enough to link Vanessa's company to Joey's laundering operation, but not enough to go public. He needs more. So he decides to get closer. He poses as a wealthy developer looking to invest through Vanessa's firm. He's cautious, methodical. But the closer he gets, the more alarmed he becomes. Vanessa isn't just caught in Joey's web, sitting at the center of it. And she has no idea. Behind the scenes, Elon, a mysterious and untouchable figure, is backing Joey. With Elon's protection, Joey operates with impunity. No law touches him. No audit reveals anything. Joey knows Vanessa will be the fall girl. That's the plan. If anything blows up, the paper trail leads to her. She's the one signing off on the deals. Her name is on the deeds. Her signature authorizes the wire transfers. Legally, she owns the mess. Joey owns the profits. Doug finds out too late. He stumbles across a file on Vanessa's laptop when she forgets to lock her screen. He recognizes Joey's company names. He realizes Vanessa is involved. He confronts her, but she brushes him off, accuses him of snooping, deflects with accusations of his own gambling. They spiral. The marriage fractures. Vanessa turns to Joey for comfort, and Joey, playing the long game, leans in. He convinces her to accelerate the business, expand into new regions, diversify their client base. She complies. More fake deals. More invisible money. More heat. Then Jacob drops the first domino. A whistleblower from one of the dummy corporations agrees to testify anonymously for now. Jacob has names, transactions, and enough circumstantial evidence to trigger a financial crimes investigation. But he needs Vanessa to flip. He tries to contact her, but Joey gets wind of it. He tightens his grip. Suddenly, Vanessa's accounts are locked down with new protocols. Her staff is replaced by Joey's people. Her decisions are questioned. Her access restricted. She starts to feel the walls closing in. But she still doesn't fully grasp the danger. It's only when she's called in for a closed-door meeting with federal agents that the illusion shatters. They lay out the case. They show her documents with her signature on them. They show her offshore accounts she didn't know existed in her name. They tell her about Joey, about Doug's debt, about Elon, and about the very real possibility that she will go to prison. She tries to reach Joey. He doesn't answer. She sends messages. Silence. Then, finally, a reply. Handle it. That's the moment she realizes he's gone. Not physically but emotionally, strategically. He's moved on. She's no longer useful. Vanessa is left with a sinking firm, a failing marriage, and a federal case with her name stamped all over it. She's a pawn burned to the ground. Still, she can't shake the feeling that there was something real between them. That maybe Joey did love her. That maybe it wasn't all manipulation. But that illusion crumbles when she discovers a hidden file in her company's cloud server recording of Joey talking to Elon. Her name comes up. Joey says, flatly, she was convenient. But she's sloppy. I'll find someone better. Vanessa stares at the screen, breathless. The betrayal is complete. Vanessa knew she had to act fast. The agents had given her 72 hours to either cooperate or face formal charges. Her lawyer, one of the top white-collar defenders in the city, urged her to cut a deal. Turn over everything she had on Joey, give them access to every document, every file, every encrypted chat. But Vanessa hesitated. There was still a part of her that clung to the fantasy, that believed Joey wouldn't let her burn. That maybe he would come back. He didn't. Joey was already laying new foundations. He had moved on to another target, a venture capitalist out of Miami with a chain of tech startups and a mistress with a background in digital currency. She had clean books, flashy branding, and no idea what Joey really wanted. Just like Vanessa had been. But Vanessa wasn't the same woman anymore. She wasn't starry-eyed. She wasn't vulnerable in the way Joey expected. She had learned. And now she was furious. Jacob, still cautious, but increasingly invested in her survival, reached out again. This time, Vanessa agreed to meet. It wasn't just about saving herself anymore. It was about exposing everything. Joey. Elon. The entire machine. If she was going down, she wasn't going alone. They met in secret. Vanessa handed over files Joey never knew. She had copied off-site backups of transactions, personal messages, internal memos from the firm. It was damning. Enough to open a grand jury investigation. Enough to rattle even someone like Elon. But information comes with consequences. 2 days later, Vanessa's car was broken into. Nothing stolen, but everything ransacked. Her apartment was tossed that night. Her assistant disappeared without a trace. No answers. No note. Just gone. Vanessa realized Joey wasn't going to let her talk. Not if he could stop her. Jacob doubled security. The feds relocated Vanessa to a safe house. They wanted her alive. But they also wanted a spectacle. She was the perfect face for a public takedown, the ambitious woman who got in over her head. They'd protect her, sure, but only as long as she played the part. Meanwhile, Doug was unraveling. With Vanessa out of reach and his gambling debts growing, he became reckless. He reached out to Joey, begging for help. Joey met him in person, for the first time in months. The conversation was short. Doug offered loyalty in exchange for protection. Joey offered nothing. Told him he was already a liability. Told him to disappear. Doug didn't take it well. He spiraled further, publicly accusing Joey of ruining his life. A shaky video went viral. Doug screaming outside a casino, naming names, raving about criminal empires. Most people ignored it. But Jacob didn't. It was the crack in the wall he needed. Doug's meltdown gave them probable cause to pull records from Joey's offshore fronts. The picture was becoming clearer. Vanessa watched it all from hiding. She began to feel something foreign. Resolve. The first time in years she wasn't pretending, wasn't selling an image. She started working with Jacob, not just as a witness, but as a strategist. She knew how Joey operated. She knew the language, the rhythm, the codes he used. She mapped out everything she remembered. The shell firms. The ghost employees. The timelines. But she also knew something else. Joey wouldn't stop. He'd come for her eventually. And when he did, no safe house, no legal deal, would protect her. The only way out was through. So she set a trap. Using her remaining access to the real estate firm, what little hadn't been seized, she launched a fake new deal. A massive property flip in the Pacific Northwest, tied to an LLC Joey had once used for a Vancouver laundering route. She leaked the proposal through a trusted intermediary Joey still believed was loyal. Joey bit. The profits were too good to pass up. Joey sent his new Miami partner to check it out. Vanessa was ready. The entire operation was under surveillance. Every meeting recorded. Every signature tracked. Jacob watched from a van outside as Joey's network slowly walked into the frame. Then, finally, Joey himself appeared. It was subtle. A call. A digital handshake. But enough. The feds had what they needed. They moved fast. And then, Elon stepped in. No one knew what strings he pulled. But the arrest didn't stick. Charges were dropped before Joey even spent the night in a cell. The money moved. The judge recused. The case stalled. Joey walked. Vanessa watched it happen, stunned. Jacob was furious. Months of work undone in an instant. The system was bigger than they thought. Deeper. Dirtier. But Vanessa wasn't surprised. She didn't stop. She turned her attention to the press. Anonymous leaks. Interviews under protection. She turned herself into a shadow figure in a viral financial crime story. The media frenzy forced the government's hand. New hearings were opened. International agencies started sniffing around. Elon's name was mentioned carefully, quietly. And Joey? He vanished. No social media. No sightings. The firm in Miami shut down. The tech startups collapsed. No one knew where he went. But Vanessa did. One morning, she received a package. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. Joey, standing on a dock somewhere warm. Behind him, a yacht. And next to him, a woman who looked eerily familiar. Young. Sharp. Ambitious. Another Vanessa in the making. There was no note. But the message was clear. Vanessa knew she'd never be safe. Not completely. But she had changed. She wasn't prey anymore. She was prepared. She accepted a teaching offer at a small college upstate under a new name. Taught ethics in business. Quiet life. Simple. But her past always lingered, just at the edges. And Jacob? He left the agency. Became a consultant. They met once a year, same time, same bar. Said little. Remembered everything. Doug didn't make it. He overdosed in a motel off the strip. The note he left behind was short, bitter, confused. Blamed everyone. Took responsibility for nothing. The case never truly closed. Joey remained a ghost. Elon remained protected. But Vanessa? She became the one thing none of them expected, survivor. Vanessa lived quietly. Her name changed, her past buried beneath layers of bureaucratic fog and digital erasure. But the scars remained deeper than any paper trail. She didn't speak about Joey anymore. She didn't need to. His ghost lingered, not as memory, but as a constant threat, a possibility that never went away. Each morning she scanned the news, checked the markets, looked for sudden movements in shell corporations and suspicious buyouts. Joey had left no fingerprints. But his style? That was harder to erase. And she saw it resurface quietly in corners of the financial world. New startups in Southeast Asia. A development boom in Eastern Europe. Same pattern. Same tools. She tracked it. Cataloged it. Alone. Until one morning, she found something. Not just a trail but a name. The woman from the dock. The one next to Joey in the photo. Her name was Mariana Valles, listed as the CEO of a disruptive blockchain real estate fund in Portugal. On paper, squeaky clean. In practice? Too perfect. Vanessa didn't hesitate. She flew to Lisbon under a fake identity and watched from a distance. Mariana was exactly where Vanessa had been charmed, elevated, empowered. And just like Vanessa once was, Mariana had no idea the man funding her empire was preparing to ruin her. But Vanessa wasn't there to warn her. She was there to use her. She approached Mariana at a conference subtle, polished, blending in with the suits and tech bros. She introduced herself as a VC with interest in ethical financial models. Mariana was intrigued. They spoke over wine. Vanessa planted seeds. Doubts. Questions. Suggested due diligence, offered subtle connections, asked small questions no one had ever asked Mariana before. Within weeks, Mariana called back. Something was wrong. She couldn't access certain accounts. Investors weren't who they said they were. Her legal team found anomalies. Her board started asking questions. Vanessa guided her. Fed her breadcrumbs. Taught her how to dig. And Joey? He finally reached out. An encrypted message. A familiar tone. You're persistent. I'll give you that. But this won't end the way you think. Vanessa replied with a single line. It won't end the way you did. She was done playing victim. Mariana agreed to cooperate with European authorities. The operation was bigger this time: international partners, extradition-ready warrants, digital forensics teams. Vanessa stayed behind the scenes. She had no desire for headlines. She wanted closure. Joey was cornered in a luxury villa in Dubrovnik. He didn't resist. He smiled for the cameras. Knew the trial would drag. Knew Elon wouldn't save him this time, not after the collapse of 3 of his shell conglomerates' forced regulatory review. Elon cut him loose. At the hearing, Vanessa testified via encrypted video. Her face obscured. Voice modulated. But her words were clear. He finds your weakness. Dresses it as a gift. Then he takes everything. The courtroom was silent. Joey was convicted on 6 counts of international fraud and money laundering. The maximum sentence in the jurisdiction wasn't much: 14 years. But it was something. Enough to clip his wings. Mariana dismantled the company before it could fall apart. She stayed in the game, but on her own terms. And Vanessa? She disappeared again. A cabin in the Alps. A new passport. teaching remote classes on financial ethics to international students who had no idea who she really was. But she slept through the night now. Most nights. She had won. Not everything. Not justice, not really. But enough. And sometimes, that's what survival looks like. It looks like living. It looks like knowing that monsters fall. Eventually. Even the ones who smile while they destroy you.